Hello and good morning. We're in week 4. I want you to go ahead and put that on your paper. So put week 4. And yesterday you were off, so put 9-6 off. And then today you should go right here. All right, so let's take a look here. Well, if I'm lucky, then I will win, is what it should say. Label the hypothesis and the conclusion. Well, the hypothesis is here. Remember, circle this, and scratch that out. You don't use that. And your conclusion is 2 lines. Okay? All right, make sure, don't include those. Converse is switch, CS. Converse switch. So you're going to say, if I win, then I'm lucky. Okay? The converse is what we just did. The inverse is the opposite. So you're going to go back to the original conditional, the number 2, or 2, let's say, 2a and 2b. So for 2b, you're going to do the opposite. So if I'm not lucky, then I will not win. And you would write all of that out. Okay, C, the contrapositive. Contrapositive is both of those. So you're going to say, if I do not win, then I am not lucky. And then the biconditional is only if these are true. They both have to be true. So we'll assume they're true just so we can do the biconditional. So you're going to say, I'm lucky if and only if I win. Okay? I'm lucky if and only if I win. Make that a little better. All right, make sure you understand those, and I'll slide it up. Let me get my workspace a little smaller so I can work. All right, so let's move on. On a new sheet of paper, copy these 2 down. This is miscellaneous stuff, and you need to know these. Eventually, I'm going to teach you a whole bunch of angles. These angles are right across from each other, okay? So look, if I stand right here and mark that, right across from there is this one. And if you look, that angle is the same as that one. Those are called vertical angles. Okay, so put vertical. Vertical angles are always congruent. So this one is the same as that one. So you're going to say x plus 30 is equal to this one. Now that you have them equal to each other, you can solve this equation. X is smaller, so you're going to do minus x. So that's going to be 30. 2 minus 1 is 1x. And then you're going to add 10 and get x equals 40. All right? So now to get the angle, you would put 40 right here on one of these and get 70. So the angle is 70 degrees and x is 40. Okay, there it is. And that's how you do it. Now I want you to try this one. Identify the vertical angles and then work it. Well, this angle is opposite that one, so they're vertical. So put 4x plus 21 is equal to 6x minus 23. Draw a line. Remember, have your calculators on your desk to avoid demerits. So here you have x's on this side and that side, but you want to get rid of the smaller one. So subtract 4x. And then you want to add and divide. So you want to add 23. When you do, you're going to get 44. And when you divide by 2, half of 44 is 22. So x equals 22. When you divide. And then you're going to substitute. So it's going to be 4 times 22, whatever that is, plus 21. So 4 times 22, press equals, plus 21. The angle is 109 degrees, both of these. So the angle is 109 degrees, and x is 22. Those are your two answers. Let's talk about today's work. Before we do that, we're going to do one more miscellaneous. So copy that diagram. Have you heard the word complementary and supplementary? Write that down. Complementary and supplementary. Okay? Complementary is either 180 or 90. You have to remember that. Remember, Superman gets the 180, and this one gets the 90. These two, you see that box? Color the box. The box means 90 degrees. These are called complementary. So you're going to say 2x plus the other one is equal to 90 degrees. And then since these are on the same side, finish working that out. So that's 3x. You're going to subtract 4, 86, and then you're going to divide by 3, whatever that is. So let's see, 86 divided by 3. I get a repeater, and let me just make sure I did this right. All right, so we're going to say 28.6 repeating. I made this one up, which is why it doesn't quite work out. Now, if you want to find out what the angles are, you would plug this back in here or there. All right, there it is. Complementary. All right, let's talk about inductive reasoning. Copy down everything you see right there. All right, inductive reasoning is moving from specific observations to hypotheses based on those observations. Okay, so you're looking at some examples and you're coming up with a hypothesis. And it could be wrong, it could be false, but that's the way you do it. Okay, so let's take a look at a little bit of today's work. So if you look at this one right here, all right, and I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see it. All right, so first they cut it in half. They used one line, then they used 2 lines, then they used 3 lines right here, then they used 4 lines. The next one's going to be 5 lines. What conjecture can you make about the regions? If you use 1, you get 2. If you use 2, you get 4. If you use 3, you get 6. So it's double the amount. So the regions are double the lines. That's it. That's a conjecture. And this is actually a true conjecture. Okay? So we looked at specific examples and we formed a conjecture. Let's do one more. Let's take a look at this one here. Okay? This is in your workbook, so go to page 28. Okay? Now, if you look at this one right here, he says that the altitude is the height of a triangle. Write that down. Altitude is the height of the triangle. So the height is from here to here, there to there, or there to there. And he says that the altitude is either inside or along the side of a right triangle. Let me make sure I read that right. And he doesn't say a right triangle, he says a triangle. But look at this triangle. This one's going to look a little weird, but so what? Okay, if you look at this one, that's a triangle, but the altitude is actually on the outside. That's called a counter example. So counter example. So his conjecture is false. All right, so sometimes it can be false. This one was true. How is inductive reasoning used to recognize mathematical relationships? You look for patterns, like we did on this one, and you form a equation. Like the number of regions is equal to 2 times the number of lines. That would be a formula. All right, so for today, I want you to work in your workbook quietly, and I want you to go start on page, let me see where it's at, right here. Here's your assignment for today. Okay? If you get stuck, ask. I already worked a few of these. If you were paying attention, you have them. We're going to switch now to MCR class for those of you out there watching. And I have it labeled. Look right here. MCR. So if you're in geometry, you don't need to look at this unless you want to learn something. Is 6 a solution? Well, let's plug in 6. Draw a line. Put a 6 right here for the x. So that's going to be 18 minus 5 is 13, and 2 times 6 is 12. This is not a solution. So not a solution. A solution is where both sides are the same when you plug it back in. This one right here, this is basically a lot of review, but watch carefully. Draw a line. You want to add 5. There's a reason why they're going over all this basic stuff, and it's for kids who didn't learn it. Let's look at this one. This is x divided by 3, so you want to do the opposite, or the inverse, and multiply. So you get x equals 6. They seem pretty simple. This one you're going to divide by 2. This one is percentages. Now, here's the formula you need to memorize. Is over of equals percent over 100. Copy that down and memorize that forever. All right, so look here. See how it says 30%? That goes in the top. So put 30 over 100. That's your percent. See how it says of 100? That's your of. Down here, you're going to put 100. So you're looking for the is. Now, some kids say cross multiply. That's what we're going to do here. But basically, we're just going to multiply by 100, and this cancels. So you get your calculator. That gives you 3,000. And 3,000, we can do this on paper, divided by 100 gives you 30. So 30% of 100 is $30. And that's how you do it. Memorize that formula. Here's another one. There's your of. So it's is. There's my is. So 16 over 400 is equal to my percent, which I don't know, over 100. So I'm going to multiply by 100, both sides. You can cross multiply if you want. So I get 1600. These zeros cancel. So I get 16 divided by 4 is going to be 4. And that is 4% is your answer. So put 4% would be $16 out of $400. Here's your assignment for today. Make sure you show all the work. Make sure you copy problems. And let's try to do some good work. Have a good day.